going to be able to share my screen a little bit with you, and we can go over the parent email that was sent out. I think the major pieces of this are the schedule and the timing, as well as the kind of the description of the meet and greet and the arrival and dismissals. I inadvertently left off Miss Novak and Miss McCalman, who is room 3 and room 10 pre-K classes. They're now on the arrival dismissal sheet, so I'll go over that as well. So just to start, let me share my screen for 1 second. All right, hold on. Where are we? Boom, boom. Share screen. And this, share. And
How you want to see?
there we go. Okay, so can everyone see the screen I pulled up was the email that was sent out on August 27th with the schedules. Now, we have 3 different schedules. Can you see it, Dr. G?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 3 different schedules. We have a pre-K schedule, a kindergarten schedule, and grades 1 through 5. Now, in the parent Zoom meetings that Mr. Diaz had maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, he had mentioned that the younger kids, the pre-K, the K, and 1, would have a little bit different or shorter meeting time in terms of being on the computer. And we needed to put a schedule in place that had specific time periods. Now, that doesn't mean, especially at the pre-K and the kindergarten level, that doesn't mean that my child is going to show up at 9 o'clock and is going to be in a morning meeting, a small group, this is pre-K, graphics practice, small group, end of day meeting. I'm going to be there from 9 to 12 on the computer the entire time. That's not what it means. That is what it says. So that's why I'm sure there was some confusion when we said they're going to be on a shorter period of time, as well as the student support and then the parent support. So let me just go over what student support and parent support looks like. The student support might be the pre-K teacher going one-on-one with the student and working them through letters, numbers. It could be that the pre-K teacher is assessing the student at that time. It doesn't mean that every student is going to be part of that student support piece every single day. There will be a schedule set up by the teacher, and she may say, listen, on Monday I'm meeting with Johnny, on Tuesday I'm meeting with Sally, and on Wednesday I'm meeting with Joey, all at 1:30. The parent support is for you to schedule if you need to speak with the teacher. It's more of a conference time. There is that break between 12 and 1 for the student to take a nap, to eat some lunch. Throughout the day, the small group may not involve every student in that class. So if I have a group of 12 kids in my pre-K class, that small group could be three groups of 4. So the first group might be the first 4 students, second group, another 4 students, third group, another 4 students. The morning meeting is whole group. The graphics practice, I believe, is whole group, and the end of day meeting is whole group. So for those 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes midday, and then 15 minutes at the end, those are the times that the kids are really going to need to be on the computer. Similar in the kindergarten, and I'll address the questions as soon as we get done with this piece of it. With the kindergarten, we have an Ela Block. So from 9 to 10 in the morning, that is going to involve a morning meeting where they talk about a number of things, but it also is going to be focused on language arts, English language arts. From 10 to 10:15, we want them away from the computer. We want them to have a brain break. We want them to walk away. But at 10:15, come back and talk about math. And for 45 minutes, they're gonna work on math. And it could be that that 45 minutes, 25 is for direct instruction, and then 20 minutes for them to do work on their own. Specials is from 11 to 11:30. That's where they'll get their gym, their health, their music, and their world language / technology. And then the last hour and 15 is fine motor skills. That could be projects that they're working on in class. And again, that could also be small group sessions. It could also be time that the teacher says, okay, this is what I want you to do. Now I want you to come away from the computer and I want you to work on this project that I have. It could be something very simple as drawing a picture of your favorite activity. You know, we get to dismissal and lunch for everybody. And again, that student support section is exactly what I described in the pre-K schedule, where they will have ESGI as our assessment piece. It could be one-on-one, or it will be one-on-one with the teacher. Small groups, this happens once or a few times each week. It does not happen every single day. Your student will be part of a small group on Monday and then being assessed on Tuesday by ESGI. It doesn't last the whole hour. It would probably be 15, 20 minutes. The parent support piece is like I described with the pre-K, where you will schedule a time to meet with the teacher if necessary. We're not saying that you need to meet with the teacher every day. I think that's not appropriate at this time. We're trying to get to know the kids. The pre-K and the kindergarten, we have a lot of students that are new to our school and are new to our program. And this program is new to everybody. It's new to our teachers. It's new to us. It's, you know, we did a little bit of it in the spring, but at this point, this is a brand new ball game. And we have to be a little more strict with the guidelines because we didn't have as strict the guidelines in the spring, and we had a lot of students not meeting online and not taking care of the work that they're supposed to do. In the same respect, we didn't have enough live meetings and enough live instruction. I fully recognize that, and that's why we're doing this this year. To start off this year. If you look at the grades 1 through 5 schedule, those period-based times are going to be very specific, and they're in grade 1, they'll have times to give you brain breaks.
Before we want some, no.
It will not be
I'm doing something with the school.
on there.
If you guys can just mute whoever's
until 1:15. You'll notice that there is a time period for lunch. So grade 1, you're going to be off that computer from 10:25 to 10:58 at least. There will be a special in there, one of the periods for specials, and your teacher will go over all that. Dismissals at 1:15. There's a 10-minute break for teachers to get themselves together. And again, the student support and parent support, this is for every grade level. It is going to be scheduled by the teacher, the student support, and the parent support can be scheduled by you. If you feel that you need to speak to your teacher or you're concerned about certain aspects of the day, that can be a conversation with the teacher. It can also be a conversation with me or Dr. Grzeski. This is the schedule breakdown, and I know a lot of people had concerns that they were on the computer so much at such a young level, and it, unfortunately, in order to meet the high expectations at our kindergarten, the end of kindergarten and moving into first grade, we need them to do a significant amount of work. Now, I do agree with you, sitting on the computer 5 hours a day is not healthy. It's not healthy for us, much less the little guys. So we wanted to make sure that you understood that there are going to be some breaks throughout the day given by the teachers. And they're going to say, step away from the computer, you know, come back please in 15 minutes or come back at a specific time. The student support piece, again, is not every day for every child. It's available every day. And if a child is having issues or struggling with some of the work, the teacher may say, listen, I need to see you at 1:30 this afternoon, or let's schedule 1:30 tomorrow so that we can talk about the questions that you have and the concerns that you have. So that's the schedule piece of it. Are there questions about the schedule?
Well, before we get to that part, I'm going to be working with the teachers as well as Mr. Dumpy to really identify exactly what it is that those instructional times will look like. So even though, you know, in the sake of kindergarten, they have that 10:15 to 11 o'clock math block, we may ask them to do something asynchronous, meaning they're going to step away from the computer. They may work on some problems, and then they come back and they show, you know, one of the problems that they worked on. We feel strongly that, you know, this is temporary, and we want to make sure that, number one, our students are able to have that interaction with one another. but more importantly, they're working on a lot of those fine motor skills. They're working on creativity. We want to make sure that at the end of the day, we're providing them with the rigor in terms of the expectations of our curriculum, and also meeting the needs that the governor has provided to us. And we recognize that a lot of the information is coming out late because we're getting the information continuously. We have a meeting after this to discuss some of the pre-K items that have to be implemented. And that meeting was scheduled on Friday by the Department of Education. So the one thing that we want to ask for and implore is just that flexibility. This is something that, as Mr. Dunphy said, this is new for everyone. It's not ideal. I can see we have 2 of our teachers on the meeting right now, and they would like nothing more than to welcome your students in on that first day, tears and all, because it is that little bit of a shock when they come in and then they, you guys, the parents leave and the students are in school. But that's what they want, and this is something that none of us asked for, but we do have to abide by the direction that the governor has provided us, as well as our superintendent.
And there's a good question in the chat that says for pre-K, and this goes actually for all grades, are they staying in the same small group every day? Not necessarily. It could be different for language arts. It could be different for math. It could be different because one student is progressing quicker than another student. It could change very easily day to day, or you may be in the same group for, let's say, play planning in pre-K. For Tools of the Mind, we do a play planning piece where the kids kind of write out and tell you what they want to do for the day. So that piece might be the same 3 kids together because it's instruction based, but at the same time, the kids are telling you what they want to do. The kids are writing down lines of how many words are in the statement that they just stated to you. So that piece of it may be. There may be some times where the teacher, and I see this happening more often than not, the teacher mixing the groups up and saying, okay, you know what, for language arts, I want these 3 kids to show up because they're progressing at a rate faster than everyone else. I want these 3 kids to show up because they're meeting the expectations right now. And these 3 students to show up because they are not meeting the expectations right now. We got to get them to meet. So it is something that the teachers are going to be assessing every day. And if not every day, every few days. And you could have the same group for a small period of time. I don't see it happening all the time though. We want that socialization. So if I have a small group and I've got, I think 30 some odd people on this, so this is my small group, I want to have that socialization with you guys. I want you to interact with each other. And then there's times where I need to interact with you as a group. And then there's going to be times where I need to interact with a smaller group and individually. So that's why we let that student support time and that small group piece in pre-K and kindergarten. I'm trying to see if there's any.
Yeah, there were 2 other questions that came in. In terms of the 9 o'clock start, that's how we're taking our attendance. So 9 o'clock, regardless of whether it's pre-K or kindergarten, they have to be logged on at that time because that's going to be the beginning of their morning meeting. And that's going to take place in the pre-K and kindergarten classrooms. And there is so much that happens in that first half an hour in terms of the morning meeting, in terms of going over, just counting, going over the weather, just coming up and working on those communication skills, as well as that social emotional learning and creating a collaborative classroom. With regards to PE, it's PE and health. So these are items that are going to start with simple hygiene, and they're going to expand into maybe some stretches that the students can do. Because again, obviously we're not going to be able to, give them the instructions on how to play Gaga Ball or one of the many games that they'll get used to playing once we can return to a normal school environment. But the PE teachers will be working with the students on health items, social emotional health, mental health, talking about a variety of different things so that the students are able to, start to develop those coping mechanisms that often go untaught unless they're within a tighter confinement of school.
OTPT, we are working on that piece. There will be some OTPT work. It was very sporadic in the spring because, again, this was all new and nobody knew what to do. So we have been contacting a company that we've worked with in the past and we're trying to figure out how we're going to implement the OTPT if necessary. Link to virtual classroom. There's a couple things there. Teachers should have sent out emails to students and parents. When we get to the older grades, it really is going to be sent to the students themselves. But when I say older grades, I mean 3, 4, 5, even 2, 3, 4, 5 at this point. There's also going to be links on teacher pages to find out where you need to go, especially in the very beginning with the younger kids, because we don't expect them to be getting on the computer and logging themselves in with their email, their password, and all this other kind of stuff. We expect the parents, especially in pre-K, kindergarten, and even grade 1 in the beginning, to get their students on, get them logged on.
Yeah, and all pre-K and kindergarten students have been provided a district email. So it's essentially going to be their first name dot their last name at sapublicschools.com. And I believe that Mr. Dunphy is going to be sending something out for the families, just so that you're able to have that. The password is preset, and we have it set up that way just for ease for ourselves as well, so that if the student goes to the computer lab, we can get them set up. So the student email address again is their first dot last name at sapublicschools.com, and their password will be sent to you by Mr. Dunphy once he sends out the Genesis blast.
And hold on, I'm going to share something with you right now. Give me 1 second. Boom, share my screen. Okay, this was the letter that was sent out on the 28th. And like we just said, each student's been given a school email, first name dot last name at sapublicschools.com. Some of you may be invited to Google Classroom by your teacher already. That's a possibility. If you're a new student, meaning at any grade level, or a student in pre-K, which are all new to us, or kindergarten, when you log into Google with your email address, your password will be capital A, BC 12345. Once you get into the older grades, and I believe it's 2nd grade and above, they will change their passwords and it will be a color with a number, and we make sure that every student knows what their password is, and we will have a master list of passwords as well. So it's not like, oh my goodness, I forgot my password. I'm a 2nd grade student, I forgot my password. We can give you that pretty quickly. So that was how you're going to get onto the Google Classroom. Yeah,
there are a couple of questions coming in with OT, PT, and speech. Those services will be scheduled by the OT provider. Our speech teachers will be reaching out to the families to schedule that, as well as any other programs that the students may be receiving. So once school begins, again, we're still in the process of making sure that we're able to be up and running for a Tuesday start next week, but the teachers will be reaching out to everyone for speech, as well as the other services, to schedule times so that the students are able to get those done.
I will ask the teachers to reach out to parents also about, it says where the email sent to parents or students have not received anything for 1st grade. I'll check with the teachers, see what they've sent out. Also, there's, and I know, Ms. Valdez, this is hard for you only because you're a letter V, and we have our first meet and greet on Thursday. And let me just outline that real quick so that everybody understands. You're going to go to your arrival/dismissal doors. The reason we're doing this is so that when we come back to hybrid learning in hopefully November, or maybe before, you never know. When we go to our hybrid learning, you're going to need to report to those arrival dismissal doors, because we will be on a part-time basis like the plan originally had, where we have an AM and a PM split. So during the meet and greet on Thursday, if your last name begins with an A through an L, you're going to go to your arrival/dismissal door. And I'll pull that up and screen share that with you in just a second. The teachers will be there. The reason we're doing this is I feel it's important. I have 2 sons that have already gone through elementary school. One is going to be a senior in high school. One's in 8th grade. I felt it was important for my sons to see their teacher and meet their teacher. Our teachers felt it was important to put a face with a name so that their first interaction isn't, completely virtual. You have a little interaction for the first days A through L, and we had to do it this way because we need to get a little bit of the online orientation going too. That afternoon, M through Z will be online virtually. I'm going to ask my teachers to put any kind of links on their teacher page, just so that if my last name begins with an M, then I'm going to go to the teacher page and click on that link. During that meet and greet, you should be getting materials from the teacher. It could be a math book, it could be common links, it could be a special schedule, it could be a number of things. Each teacher will be handing out information that is pertinent to their class or grade level. The second day, which is Friday, M through Z will be coming in the morning. And it literally is a stopover. This is not, hey, we're coming in, we're having a class session. No, this is a stopover where the parent gets to meet and the child gets to meet their teacher face to face. And just a quick hello, here are the materials we're going to be using. I look forward to being with you on Tuesday the 8th, because that's when we come back after Labor Day weekend. So on Thursday, if your last name begins with an A through an L, you're going to go to your arrival/dismissal doors, and I'll show you that in just a second. On Friday, your last name begins with an M through a Z, you're going to go to your arrival/dismissal doors. And again, it's from 9:30 to 11. You can come anytime in between there. It's not, I got to get there at 9:30 and stay to 11. There's a question here about doors. So let me share my screen and I can pull up the arrival dismissal information. There it is. Hold on one second. Boom. Okay, so if you are grade 1, you're going to be going in and out of the main entrance, which is on John Street. If you're in Miss Mensel's class, which is a second grade class, they're also using this entrance because their room is located directly above the main entrance. Okay, so that's where the teachers will be set up. They may not be set up right inside this corridor, but they'll be set up on the grass to the left or against this wall. Grade 2 and Miss LaMagna's class, you're going to be on George Street. We have the blacktop over here. Door number 14 and 15 is where grade 2 and Miss LaMagna's class will be entering and exiting the building. And the reason that Miss LaMagna and grade 2 are over here is because they literally enter into their hallway. It is the most straightforward, least amount of crossover we can have. Grade 3 and Miss Novak and Miss McAlmon's pre-K classes. They're going to be on John Street. It is the old pre-K entrance. For those of us who have had kids go through this system, this is where the old pre-K entrance was. It's door number 16. There is a driveway kind of up to the door. You can see the clothing bins on the right. It is the eastmost entrance to our school. And that is where grade 3, Miss Novak and Miss McAlmon's class will be. Miss Novak is room 3, Miss McAlmon is room 10. Grade 4, Miss Durant is going to be on John Street. Grade 5 and Miss Everett's class is also on John Street. It's the Hoffman entrance closest to the field. Okay, it's door number 6, the Hoffman entrance closest to the field. And again, we're doing this so that we have the least amount of crossover of students walking in the building when we come back. Pre-K and kindergarten, we are out on George Street. Miss Oakes and Miss Dahl are door number 12. Now, if you remember, second grade and Miss LaMagna were over here on the right. Door number 12 is the leftmost door when you're facing the building, and that is for Miss Oakes and Miss Dahl. Miss Barna and Miss Cannon, door number 13, that are the 2 right doors on that building. Miss Breeder, Miss Hybel, and Miss Sosa are all going to be exiting this door. Now, when we come back, there will be a staggered time for pre-K so that we are not all entering the building at the same time, all 3 classes. but Ms. Breeder, Ms. Hybel, Ms. Sosa. Now you notice over here is where the playground is. Most likely that's where we will be set up for the meet and greet, okay? And this is George Street, and that's where they will be set up. I don't want to have too many people in this confined space, even though it is open air over here. I'd rather just have our table set up here and you can come by and see. Okay, so that is
Yeah, a question just came up, Mr. Dumpy, if you can scroll back down.
Sure.
So a question came through in terms of which homeroom is whose. Miss Oak's homeroom is room 118, and Miss Barna's homeroom is room 116. So on the schedule, if it appears as room 118, that would be for Miss Oakes, so you would use door 12. And if it's 116, that's for Mrs. Barna, and you would use door 13.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna go back to see the chat. Okay, Chromebooks, yes, the Chromebook distribution is tomorrow. And again, we try to split it up alphabetically. We know it's going to rain. I've already spaced out and taped out spaces inside the building so that we're not crossing over. Mrs. Masella and our paraprofessionals are going to be taking temperatures of everyone that walks through the door, send them up the stairs, get in line, and you will be picking up a Chromebook. I ask that you please wear a mask if you're coming to pick up the Chromebook. Again, A through L is 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, anytime in between there. And M through Z is 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Now there's a question. Yes, you can send a grandparent to pick it up. They're going to have to sign the agreement. There is a change on the agreement. If you need multiple Chromebooks, the fee is $25 per family, not per device. Originally, it was per device. If you qualify for free or reduced lunch, that fee is waived. Now, you have to reapply every year for free and reduced lunch, and you may qualify, you may not. They do have a sliding scale each year. If you're not sure and you filled out a lunch application, or you are in the process of filling out a lunch application, I would have to take the fee and then reimburse it to you if you qualify. So if you have questions about that piece in particular, we can have a conversation day of. I will be here tomorrow, but I can have that conversation with you. Ms. Masella will have a walkie-talkie, and if there's any questions, she can walkie me and I can come on up.
And to make that process go quickly, essentially someone will be at the bottom of the awning taking temperatures. We already have the paperwork pre-filled with your child's name as well as their grade. What essentially will happen is you'll come in, you'll read through the agreement as you're walking toward the table. We'll provide you with a device or devices. We'll write the serial number down. You'll sign. The process itself should take no more than 1 minute from the time that you get into the building up to the table. Because again, we want to make sure that number one, we have a lot of families that have made the request. We want to make sure that we can get to them as quickly as possible. And then also, like Mr. Dumpy said, if there are any questions or concerns, unfortunately that time won't be the time to answer it because we want to make sure we can get everyone in to get their devices.
And there's a question here about room 3 and room 10. Yes, they are Acelero, but they are under all our rules, meaning if our school is off, those classes are off. Even though they're technically an Acelero program, we have a pre-K grant that allows us to do many different things with our pre-K kids, and Acelero is part of that grant. And I'm happy to have them in our building. I'm in that room every day when we come back to get off virtual learning and come back to in-person learning. They're treated as our own. The kids, the teachers, they do everything that we do. I do not exclude them from any of the activities, fundraising, any programs that we put on. They're a part of us. They are our school, and I'm happy to say that. Virtual platforms, the teachers will be using Google Classroom, I would say 99.9% of the time. It's because the students will be able to enter through Google Classroom and use Google Meet. because everything is tied into their Gmail. Pre-K students still receiving lunch and breakfast. As far as I know, the lunch pickup is at the middle high school, and they give you multiple days of lunch and breakfast. And that is, I want to say Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's on my principal's page, and it's between a certain hour. I don't know off the top of my head, but it is on the principal's page. Just so everybody knows, anytime I do an all call, you might see the number and say, I don't want to listen, and you know, click off. I posted onto the principal's page whatever information's in there. And it could be, hey, welcome back to school. That will be on my principal's page, which is on the elementary school website, okay? You go to the For Parents tab, you'll see a bunch of information. Principal's page is right there, all right? Yes, bring the lunch app. Ms. McNally, bring the lunch app on Friday. If you give it to the teachers, they will get it to me, and we will take care of it right away. Okay. The request for Chromebooks. We are going through our process tomorrow. We will then see if we have any extra Chromebooks, because I understand it was last minute that that people did realize we were going to virtual, and you know, had planned for in-person and some virtual, but realize that now, oh my goodness, I have 3 kids at home and I need to get Chromebooks for 2 out of the 3 because my other one has one. So I don't know, I can't guarantee that if you did not fill out the reentry application and say that you needed a Chromebook by, I think we shut it, Dr. G, last Thursday, was it?
Yeah, Thursday at noon, but there were a couple that came through, and I did add them to the list. So if it was completed after Friday or past Friday, we have the request. However, we may not have the device tomorrow. So those that made the request and we were able to have that done before the end of the business day on Thursday, there will be a device for you tomorrow. And we'll have a list out front as well. We just ask that you bear with us, because we recognize that, you know, this is troubling times for all of us, and we're all trying to do what's best for our children. And again, we just ask for that patience and flexibility. We'll get a device for you, but we have to make sure that we're able to provide the devices to those that we have the forms for.
And like Dr. G said, we have a one-man show in Mr. Elson, who has been scrambling the last week of getting all our devices up and to code and getting them where they need to be. He has done a phenomenal job in getting everything ready for us. And it's not just our school, it's the middle high school as well. And literally one man going around taking Chromebook carts apart and making sure that all the Chromebooks are up to par. And I can't thank him enough for all the work that he's done over the last week to get this ready. Because even though we were planning on being partially virtual, we had no plan on going full virtual. I was hoping we weren't going that route. The lunches, I just got the information. The lunches will start being given out on Thursday, 9/3. You can go Tuesday and Thursday between 12 and 2 p.m. to the middle high school auditorium doors. You just need your student's ID, which you can get on Genesis, okay? So again, you can buy lunch if you wanted to buy lunch for your children. If you are free and reduced, you can pick up at the auditorium between 12 and 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They will give you, I believe they're giving you multiple days for each pickup, okay?
Yeah. And with regards to pre-K, we will get an answer for you ASAP and get that out to you, because someone is asking if it's the lunch and breakfast are provided as they have been in the past. We have no reason to say that it wouldn't, but we do want to just get confirmation that all students in pre-K are eligible for that. But we still ask that you complete the lunch application, because that's going to determine whether or not you have to pay the non-refundable fee on the Chromebook.
As for multiple children, that's a good question, Ms. Burns. There's enough time, 9:30 to 11, where you can go to one arrival dismissal door and then go to the other, because our plan when we come back is for that to happen. So if I have a child in, let's say, 3rd grade, and I have a child in kindergarten, I would probably drop the third grade child off first and then walk around the building to go to the kindergarten drop off. And the reason I would do that is because our plan is to have kindergarten start a little later than the other grades. So we can get the older kids in. They usually can get in quicker than the younger kids, and get them started and then move on to our younger children. Miss McNally, I don't know. It's usually not a long period of time. More info on speech therapy.
Yeah. So speech is something that is offered as the teachers start to identify which students are having a concern. Generally speaking, for the kids in pre-K, we're happy if they are, just engaged. We're really not looking for specific issues, probably till about the middle of the school year. And that's where we will begin any potential screening. And we would let the parents know, and the teachers would let the parents know, so Johnny's having a little bit of an issue. I want to have the speech teacher just kind of take a listen to see what I can do to help him. And again, it's a collaborative effort. If a student qualifies for speech based on early intervention, then again, the speech teachers will be reaching out to you to schedule those. But for students that may not have had early intervention, we are always on the lookout. We have our RTI, Response to Intervention program, where we're constantly communicating with the teachers to find out exactly where they need some assistance with some students and provide them that help.
Ms. Sweat, your teachers will be evaluating the children, and they will make recommendations. You can speak with your teacher if you have a concern about speech, and they will absolutely talk to you about it. And we have we have a lot of experience on our kindergarten team, also our pre-K team. Actually, throughout the school, I really am very happy that we don't have a lot of turnover here, meaning we don't have teachers that come for a year or two and then skedaddle, or come for a year or two and are asked to leave. We have a lot of staff members and that have spent a lot of time in our building. And we have, I think, 2 newer teachers in kindergarten, 2 newer teachers in pre-K, and grade 1, we don't have any newer teachers. And when I say newer, they have multiple years of experience in our building.
Mm-hmm.
So just because they're newer doesn't mean they're experienced, and they can tell right away usually if someone needs to have speech assessment and things of that nature. For new pre-K new students, you're going to get the account password. How can we enter? You'll be getting that from your teacher, new Galaxy S8. Do you still have to do the online check-in form? No. Okay, good. The online check-in form that we did last year, which was our attendance piece, is not the case this year. Our online check-in is you being online, meaning the child is online with the teacher. So our teachers are going to take, a quick check, and it could be during the morning meeting, and it's hey, how is everybody's day? And they talk to each one of them. They're doing a very quick check to see that everybody's there. The good piece about South Amboy that I feel is our student to teacher ratio is not very high, especially at the lower grades. So we did have a year where kindergarten had 24 kids in a class. That was difficult. This year, I don't think we have over 20 in a class. If we do, it's right at 21. That is much more manageable. So we'll be able to take the attendance quickly in the morning.
And just to follow up on attendance, because all of you are new to our school and district, the attendance policy in our school is very, unfortunately, clear and not clear. So either you're in school or you're not. So if the student is in school, obviously they're present. If they're not in school because they're sick or for some of the other reasons, all absences are considered to be unexcused. We will document that there was the absence, and if there's a doctor's note, we add that note to the file. But we have very strict guidelines that we have to adhere to with the state of New Jersey. Students can't be absent for more than 10% of the school year. If they're out for more than 10% of the school year, and for pre-K, it's obviously flexible because students are going to get sick once we come back. We know that that's inevitable, but we do send the letters out. We do communicate with you all just to make sure that everything's okay. And if you need any assistance with something, we're here for you. So the attendance is crucial. If we see that you're on Monday and Tuesday and not there on Wednesday, the teacher may email us and one of us may be giving you a call just to say, hey, is everything okay? We see that they're not signed in. If the student's sick and it can be visible on the computer, by all means, we don't want the student to, be throwing up. We don't want them to be, ill on screen. But if a student's, just a little under the weather, allergies, we do encourage them to participate as much as possible.
Just want to make sure I have it. Sons in pre-K. There will be a small group session. There will be a morning meeting and the graphics and the end of day meeting. Those are the pieces that are going to be in place that we really would like every child to attend. Now, again, every child's not going to be in every small group session. That's why they're small groups. So there's going to be a break in the day for, I'm talking pre-K specific, a break in the day where your child can get up and get the fidgets out, and do what they want to do for a little while. There will be that small group session, and it might be 5 minutes. It might be 10 minutes. It may not be the full 15, but the morning meeting is extremely important. The graphics practice and the end of day meeting are extremely important as well. The small group session is really a way to, it provides two things. It provides an assessment for the teacher to perform on the children that she's doing the small group on. It also gives them that extra support that they may need. And if I can get my small group session support, I may not need that student support in the afternoon, which, kind of gives us that socialization piece if we wanted to go out to the park, or if we wanted to go out for a walk and get them out away from the computer. Because trust me, I don't want to be on the computer all day, and I have to. I get it. The kids really, it's not a great situation, but we have to make the best of it right now for what we can do, because we really need to prepare them for kindergarten if you're in the pre-K, and prepare them for first grade if you're in the kindergarten, and keep preparing them to get to where they need to be. Kindergarten used to be a lot more fun and a lot more play. It is the new first grade. And we've been telling parents that pre-K is the new kindergarten. These kids are coming out with so much knowledge. I am so happy that we went to a full day program, because they really are coming out well ahead of other places that have a half day program. What if late getting on or having computer problems or sick that day? Try and reach out to the teacher. If you're late getting on, obviously we will get you in and we can mark you late, not a big deal. Having computer problems, to be very honest with you, I haven't thought of that. And that was probably something I really should have thought of in the very beginning. I'm not sure about what we do if you're having an issue at home with the computer, unless you're on a Remind 101, which is a texting app with the teacher. And you can just let them know, hey, can't get on today, Wi-Fi down, something to that nature.
And if you let us know as well, you can always call the main office. Mr. Dunphy and I spent hours in the spring troubleshooting and talking families through getting into the different programs. So, there may be an issue in the beginning. We're going to provide videos and links to help all the families with the different programs. But let us know, and if there's something we can do, even if it means we may have a spare device, you can get that device that day if we have it. But if we don't know, obviously we can't be of assistance. With the communication with the parents and teachers, the teachers will provide you with that information when you do the meet and greet on Thursday and Friday. Some of the teachers use Remind, some use ClassTag. The teachers will provide you with that information, and then you'll be able to get access to the teacher and communicate that way.
Ms. Burns, is the year, yes, our school calendar is up to date and current. So meaning we have the 7th off, which is Monday, Labor Day. We have Columbus Day off. We have all those holidays that are built into our school calendar. It's like nothing has changed except we're not in the building. So those days, please don't do any work. Get your kids out, get them running around, get them, away from the computer. Those are the days we need to take for ourselves. I mean, it's important. We're trying to keep this as normal as possible, and this is so far from normal that I'm having a hard time dealing with it myself. So I can't imagine being a 4, 5, 6-year-old dealing with it. We are having a fundraiser which will be kicked off virtually on September 9th. So I'm going to talk with the teachers about that tomorrow when we have our first faculty meeting. And it's going to be the Harvest Mom Fundraiser. If you participated in it last year, you can purchase mums, you can purchase planters. It really is a nice job, and some of the money goes to Jocko for Hope, which is a charitable organization, and then the PTO is helping me run it this year. For kindergarten, if it's half day on the calendar, Ms. Sweat, that's a really good question. It would probably be an abbreviated schedule. If it's half day on a calendar, it would probably be an abbreviated schedule. And that's kind of why we set up the meet and greet the way we did, because we wanted to have, I couldn't have everyone showing up at the school throughout the day. So that's why we split it A through L, M through Z. And because it is a half day on our calendar, that's why we did a brief orientation in the afternoon for those certain alphabets. Okay.
Yeah, and for later days, I know the Halloween date, because that's usually when we offer PD for our staff. We'll have information come out as soon as that's made available with regards to, will that be a regular day in terms of the 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock for pre-K and then 9 o'clock to 12:45 for kindergarten. Once those details come out, we'll be sure to share that with everyone. So again, if there are any half days on our school calendar, once we have a better idea of what the end of October into November looks like, we'll be able to provide more information as to what those times are.
Any other questions? I know it's a lot of information to digest, and I know that we have the parent email is out there. If you misplaced it, don't have it, you can go on to my principal's page. Any type of information is on there. If you look at it and don't see something that you want to inquire about, please shoot me an email, give me a call. I've been getting 6, 7 calls a day. That's me alone. I know Mrs. Carmelo in the main office had 25 messages on one of the days last week, and it was just because people either didn't get the email or got the all call and didn't hear it. And I try to make sure that we have enough communication out there. I'm very happy that a few parents had requested this meeting. We were going to do it anyway, but it actually made us speed up the process a little bit. I appreciate that. Please try not to believe everything you hear on Facebook. It is a good tool, but it sometimes can be a bad tool as well of misinformation. And if you have a question, and we're back to normalcy, Dr. G is usually in the back and I'm usually in the front. You got a question, we're out there. We are very approachable. Please, I feel terrible that we have to go through this, but at the same time, I got to do what's best for our staff, our kids, our parents, and it's hard balancing all that. I can't imagine the hard work that you guys are doing, and I can't imagine I never knew how many essential workers we had in our district until we went through this in the spring, and I feel terribly that we can't offer that hybrid model yet, but I am so looking forward to having that in place, and then even looking forward ahead of that to have everyone back in person. I think it'll happen sooner than later. I really do believe that in my heart, and I'm hoping that I am right. We'll wait and see. Again, thank you so much for attending this. We did record it, so I am going to put the recording up on the principal's page because I really do think all the questions you guys were asking are all the questions that are out there on the street right now. and if people weren't able to attend, if the people weren't able to attend, they'll be able to at least see this. I know I've set up a phone call or two already with a couple people who said they couldn't attend. Mrs. Sweat, talk with your teacher. If your son gives you a hard time staying on the whole time, we're going to have to do our best to keep him on, but at the same time, we're going to have to, also give him a break every now and then. We got a lot of scooches. I get it. I can't sit still a whole lot for a long period of time either. So I totally understand. And I know your teachers understand that as well, because they've dealt with these students and all types of pre-K, K, and 1 students for a while now. Principal's page, if you go to the South Amboy Elementary School, so es.sapublicschools.com, and you go for Parents tab, it's underneath the For Parents tab. Official first day of virtual learning is 9/8. Yes, correct.
Yeah. And I just want to follow up on a point that Mr. Dunphy just made. If there's a question, a concern, the classroom teacher is your first line. There are a lot of times where if it's something that's larger, he and I will be able to get the answer. But there are a lot of times where we're asked questions and we may not have the answer right away because we may not be in the classroom. So if there's something going on, there's a concern, talk to the teacher. If the teacher is unsure of something, they'll let us know and we'll reach out to you. We'll schedule a meeting. We want to be supportive, but in the same token, we don't have all the answers right away. So if you go to the teacher and they don't have the answer, they'll come to us, or you can come to us and we can kind of go from there.
Thanks again. I'm just writing thank you all for attending today's session. It really is great to get you here. I wish we could have a normal orientation. I wish we could have had our thing in May where we come in and show you everything. And the first day of school when all the parents are crying because the kids are going to school and the kids are laughing as they watch their parents cry. Mrs. Masello is really going to miss that in the beginning. So we know that the in-person is coming. Could be I'm sure it will be on a hybrid level first, but I'm telling you, we're going to get through this and we can only get through it together. Thank you so much for attending. And please, if you have someone that wanted to attend and can't, I'm going to put the recorded session up. It does take us a couple days to make sure it's YouTube acceptable and put up there. All right. Thank you again. Have a great day. We look forward to seeing everybody during the meet and greet. Dr. G and I will be bouncing around front to back. So please say hello. It's going to be hard to decipher everyone through the masks, but we'll do our best. All right. One more question is the main contact when Wi-Fi isn't working. But please call the school. Someone will be in the school every day. Someone will be in the main office every day. I make it a point for myself to be here almost every single day, mainly because I can't work with my own 2 kids at home. So I know how difficult it is for all you trying to work at home as well. All right. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.